My routine is pretty straightforward. Wake up at 7 a.m., grab a coffee from the corner diner, head to the office by 9, and wrap up around 5. Evenings are chill. Gym 3 times a week, maybe hang out with friends at the local bar, or just binge-watch shows at my apartment. Riverton's quiet, you know? Tree-lined streets, friendly neighbors, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. But looking back, even in those normal days, something always felt a little off. It started small, things I brushed off as my imagination. Like, I'd be walking to work and feel this weird prickling on the back of my neck, as if someone was staring at me from afar. I'd turn around, but the street would be empty, just leaves rustling in the wind. Or at the diner, the waitress would give me this odd look, sometimes not rude, but like she knew something I didn't. "You okay, Alex? You seem distracted," she'd say, but I wasn't. The air felt thicker those mornings, heavier, like the silence was pressing in. No birds chirping, no distant car horns. Just this unnatural quiet that made my skin crawl. A BITMY apartment was on the second floor of an old building, cozy but creaky. I'd come home, make dinner, usually pasta or something easy, and scroll through my phone. But lately, the hallway outside my door had this strange echo. Footsteps that stopped right at my unit, then nothing. I'd peek through the peephole, see an empty corridor, and tell myself it was the neighbors. Still, it left me uneasy, like the building was holding its breath. One evening, after a long day, I decided to meet up with my buddies for a hike in the nearby woods. It was a group thing, me, Jake, Sarah, and Mike, something we did every few weeks to unwind. The trail was familiar, winding through tall pines with that fresh forest smell. We laughed, took selfies at the lookout point, the usual. But as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows, I noticed this odd figure in the distance. Not close, but standing still among the trees, just watching. He was tall, wearing a dark coat, face hidden in the shade. I pointed it out to the others, but when they looked, he was gone. "Probably a hiker, man," Jake said, shrugging, but I couldn't shake it. That night, when I got home and flipped through the photos on my phone, there he was, in the background of every single shot from the lookout. Blurry, but unmistakable. The same stranger, staring right at the camera. My heart skipped. Who was he, and how had he slipped into all our pictures without us noticing? After that hike, things started getting weirder, and I couldn't ignore it anymore. I'd wake up to my phone buzzing with unknown calls, no voicemail, just static if I answered. At first, I thought it was spam, but they came at odd hours, like 3 a.m., making my pulse race in the dark. Then the messages started. Anonymous texts, "Nice view from the trail," or "You looked happy with your friends." No sender ID, just those words popping up, making my stomach twist. I blocked the numbers, but new ones kept coming. At work, it escalated. I'd be at my desk designing logos when I'd feel eyes on me. Glancing up, I'd catch a shadow outside the window. Our office is on the ground floor, facing the street. A tall figure in a dark coat, standing across the road, not moving. He'd linger for minutes, then vanish when I tried to get a better look. I told my coworker Lisa about it. "Someone's following me, I swear," I said, showing her a blurry photo I'd snapped. She laughed it off. "Alex, you're paranoid. It's probably just a pedestrian." My boss was the same. Focus on the deadlines, not ghosts. No one believed me, and that isolation made everything feel heavier, like I was losing my grip. The footsteps outside my apartment grew bolder. I'd hear them late at night, slow and deliberate, pacing the hallway. One time, I yanked the door open mid-stride, but the corridor was empty again. Empty, except for a faint handprint on the wall opposite my door, smudged, like someone had leaned there watching. I started double-checking locks, peeking out windows before bed. Then came the staring in public. At the gym, I'd spot him in the mirror's reflection. Across the room, eyes locked on me while pretending to lift weights. I'd turn, and he'd be gone, blending into the crowd. Or at the bar with friends, I'd feel that prickling again, look over my shoulder, and see him at a corner table, nursing a drink, gaze fixed. Jake noticed once, "That guy's creeping on you?" But when we confronted, the table was empty, glass still half full. The tension built until one rainy evening. I was driving home from work, wipers slashing through the downpour, when my phone dinged with a photo message. It was a picture of my apartment building, taken from the street, my window lit up, curtains open. The text, "Home sweet home." My blood ran cold. How did he know where I lived? I sped up, heart pounding, glancing in the rearview. Headlights followed too closely. At a red light, I looked back, a dark sedan, driver obscured. I floored it home, barricaded the door, and called the police. They came, checked around, found nothing. "Could be a prank," the officer said. But as they left, I heard a soft knock on my window from outside, 3 deliberate taps. He was right there, touching my home. It all came to a head that Friday night. I'd skipped the usual hangout with friends, too on edge to go out. Instead, I stayed in, lights dimmed, trying to distract myself with a movie. My apartment felt like a cage, every creak of the building amplified, every shadow in the corner seeming to shift. Rain hammered the windows, thunder rumbling distant warnings. I kept my phone close, volume up, but no calls came. That silence was worse, like the calm before a storm. Around midnight, I heard it. Footsteps in the hallway again, heavier this time, stopping right at my door. My heart slammed in my chest, breaths shallow and quick. I froze on the couch, straining to listen. Scratch, scratch, nails dragging lightly on the wood outside. Was he testing the lock? I crept to the peephole, hands shaking, and peered out. Empty corridor, but the air felt charged. Wrong. Backing away, I grabbed a kitchen knife, clutching it tight, sweat beading on my forehead. Then, a shadow flickered under the door, someone standing there, unmoving. My pulse thundered in my ears, drowning out the rain. I whispered, "Who's there?" No answer. Minutes dragged like hours, my legs trembling as I stood frozen. Suddenly, the doorknob rattled softly, turning slow, testing. I'd locked it, but the metal groaned under pressure. Panic surged. I backed into the living room, eyes glued to the door. A low whisper slithered through the crack. "Alex, I see you." Terror gripped me. How did he know my name? I bolted to the window, fumbling with my phone to call 911, but my fingers slipped, the device clattering to the floor. As I bent to grab it, I saw him. Through the rain-streaked glass, a tall figure in the dark coat, face pale and expressionless, pressed close outside. Inches away, separated only by thin pain. His eyes locked on mine, unblinking, a faint smile curling his lips. Shadows played across his features, making him look almost inhuman. He raised a hand, pressing it flat against the glass. Mirroring where mine had been moments ago, I stumbled back, breath hitching, knife raised. "Get away!" I yelled, voice cracking. He didn't move, just stared, head tilting slowly like he was studying me. The room spun, my vision blurred with fear, every muscle tensed for flight. What if he broke the glass? What did he want? Seconds stretched into eternity, my mind screaming to run. But where? The door was blocked. Then, lightning flashed, illuminating his face, fully hollow eyes, skin too smooth, like a mask. In that instant, I lunged for the bedroom, slamming the door, barricading it with a chair. Sirens wailed in the distance. Had I managed to dial? Pounding on the front door now, but was it him or help? I huddled in the corner, shaking, waiting. When the police burst in minutes later, the window was empty, no sign of forced entry. He had vanished into the night, leaving only a smeared handprint on the glass, dripping with rain. After that night, everything changed. The police took my statement, dusted for prints, but found nothing usable, no matches in the system, no leads. They suggested it might be a stalker, advised me to install cameras and change my routine. I told my family back in Seattle. My sister insisted I crash with her for a while. I quit my job the next week, couldn't handle the office windows anymore, and moved in with her temporarily. Friends checked in, but their sympathy felt hollow. Jake even joked, maybe it was a ghost, which just made me angrier. I reported the messages and calls, but the numbers traced to burners, dead ends. I became a different person, paranoid, always glancing over my shoulder, triple-checking locks. No more hikes or late nights out. I avoided crowds, stuck to well-lit streets. Sleep came in fits, haunted by dreams of that pale face at the window. Therapy helped a bit. The counselor said it was PTSD, but the fear lingered, a constant knot in my gut. I even deleted all social media, scrubbed my online presence, afraid he'd find me again. Weeks turned to months, and life in Seattle felt safer, busier. I got a new remote job, designing from home, and started feeling almost normal. But then, one evening while sorting old photos on my cloud drive, I stumbled on those hike pictures. Zooming in, my blood froze. The stranger wasn't just in the backgrounds in one shot. His hand was subtly reaching toward Sarah's shoulder, like he was about to touch her. How had I missed that? And worse, a new photo had appeared in the album, time-stamped that very day. My sister's front door, taken from across the street. No message, just the image implying he knew where I'd gone. I showed the police again, but they called it a hack, nothing concrete. Now, I check windows obsessively, hear phantom footsteps in quiet moments. That small creepy detail, a black sedan idling outside my sister's place last week. Driver unseen, suggests it's not over. He could be anywhere watching.